So if you're just joining us, we're currently witnessing the police chasing a suspect through Los Angeles. This is an incredibly unusual situation. Normally, we have, as you know from the past, following these pursuits, the individuals tend to drive somewhat recklessly, but they always stay on the right side of the road. This individual is absolutely and deliberately staying on the left side of the road, which we have determined must be a homesick Englishman who is just had enough. We don't know how long this Englishman has been in Los Angeles, or in the United States for that matter. And we have seen this before a couple of times, although it's incredibly rare to catch it on camera. We've learned from our international psychologists here in the studio, who are experts in this thing, that sometimes, as you can see, their driver is just deliberately staying on the left side of the road, like this is London or Birmingham or something. What we think has happened is our psychologist has told us that what does happen from time to time is if an English immigrant runs out of tea, it creates this strange imbalance in their brain and drives them quite crazy. Now, we did consider that this could be a Scottish person like myself, or possibly a Welsh person. However, statistically, given that there are far more English people in the United States, I feel quite comfortable speculating that this individual is he could be from Newcastle, he could be from London, he could be from Southampton, perhaps Manchester. We just don't know at this point. He's slowing down there just to change the track on his, probably on his Beatles CD. Now, he is staying on the right side now, probably in a brief moment of clarity. So let's just keep an eye on this and see how this unfolds. A little bit of a wiggle, turning, straight back onto the left. Yes, the deficit of tea is definitely having a really terrible effect on this individual's psychology. And we just hope that the police can bring this to a peaceful resolution as this individual continues to rampage through Los Angeles. It really is quite a frightening situation if you are driving to work or home from work and you see this Englishman driving toward you on the wrong side of the road with a look of insanity in his eyes due to the lack of tea bags. It could be that this individual is trying to find a shop which sells tea bags. This could almost hitting a car there. That is really frightening. We need to make sure that this has been happening more and more. Not often, but enough that it's starting to become a bit of a concern for the residents and the good citizens of the entire country. I don't think it's acceptable that, we want to be welcoming, we want to be good, in a good place. Now, I'm not American, as you can tell, but I understand that we want to welcome foreigners, we want to welcome immigrants, and we do, but I just think that this is starting to get a little bit out of hand. We either need to cave in and start issuing tea bags to these English immigrants just to keep them psychologically on the level, which would be a good way to protect the rest of us from potentially them going into withdrawal and other psychological effects that can occur from that. Now, or we need to start kicking them out. This is really difficult. Now, he is on the right side of the road. That police cruiser is getting closer and closer, blowing through the intersection again. He does have his lights on. It looks as though there may be some damage on the rear left side of the vehicle. I don't actually remember. I didn't see what happened there. But I can only imagine what's going through this individual's mind. Not only are they, in their mind, driving on the wrong side of the road, they're also sitting on the wrong side of the vehicle. And if any of you have been to a country where they drive on the left, you'll know the pedals are the same, but the gear stick, the steering wheel, the indicators, just the very feeling of being on the opposite side of the vehicle can be quite frightening. Back on the left again, that's the T deficit kicking in again. We really, really hope that the good officers of the Los Angeles Police are able to stop this individual. He probably doesn't even realize that he's doing anything wrong, just weaving in and out, probably wondering why everyone else is on the wrong side of the road. This is the type of thing that happens when we welcome English people into our countries. I've dealt with it in my own way, in my own home country. It is a challenge. You got to walk a very fine line. And the psychologist here in the studio is informing me that there really is no simple solution to this type of problem. And this individual is now going through Koreatown. I think it's safe to say that chances of finding some tea bags in Koreatown that he would approve of are very, very slim. Probably going to keep going here, looking for that. You see? We are just receiving word now that the police cruiser behind the suspect is not just planning to arrest them, but also has a packet of biscuits in the car, some British biscuits bought from a expat store. And I think he is going to try and get closer to the suspect and throw those biscuits at him, just in order to stabilize his mindset for a little while we bring this pursuit to a close, wherever that might be. Back on the left again, taking a left turn. The police are stuck behind some idiot who will not get out of the way. Don't you just hate that? Very difficult to see what's going on now as he disappears behind these buildings. The biscuits, I am understanding, are called Jammy Dodgers. Jammy Dodgers. I haven't seen those for a long time. I have seen them. They are very, very enjoyable, very tasty. Oh yes. I should clarify that biscuits in Britain, in England, is cookies, a type of cookie. Cookie, yeah. So no, we're not going to be throwing scones at this individual. That probably would just upset him even more. Now, this does remind me once, several years ago, as I've been living in North America for quite some time, I did go through a period of, I want to say, kind of a mild psychosis because I had not had a drink of iron brew for probably about 8 or 9 months. Now, thankfully, I was not behind the wheel at the time, and I was able to find some iron brew, and now I take it at regular intervals, and that keeps me on the straight and level mentally and physically. However, a cup of tea, a good tea bag, perhaps Tetley, it's just very, very difficult to come by. There are some tea bags that you can find in the supermarket that do say Tetley. However, I will admit, even as a Scottish guy, it's not quite the same. You really do need to get it straight from the horse's mouth. And that it requires various import rules and permits and tariffs and what have you. However, if we are able to do that and find a way to keep these English immigrants happy, then it may be better for everyone. Hopefully we will see some legislative change in the future that could remedy that problem. Now, it appears as though things have slowed down a little bit. It could be that the lack of caffeine has finally kicked in, and the individual, although undoubtedly still going through a period of intense withdrawal and psychosis, it could be that it's starting to wear off slightly. Possibly this individual will be going for a nap sometime soon. A nap which is hopefully not at the hands of the police. We obviously wish and hope that there is no violence and overhanded, excessive use of force on this individual. Back on the right side of the street again, looking as though, they're getting very close. It looks as though they could be getting ready to deploy the jammy Dodgers. We don't know if the windows on this vehicle are immune or jammy Dodger proof. It could be that they will use the loudspeaker to convince this individual to lower his windows and get the food in there in order to balance out his mental state. Now, because this is an English person, we know that the risk of them carrying firearms are very, very low. So I suspect we will not be witnessing any firearm-related violence during this pursuit. We are struggling with some airspace restrictions here. We're going to have to hold and see where this goes from here. I'm zooming in, can barely make out what's going on. There's the traffic, a hell of a lot of traffic this evening in Los Angeles, and as you can see, the vast majority of people do know what side of the road to drive on. It's slow going, but it's orderly and civilized, as we would expect from the good people of Los Angeles tonight. Let's see if we can pick up. I'm just listening to the police scanner now. Unfortunately, they did deploy a packet of jammy Dodgers. However, they fell short and smashed across the street. So we could be heading toward a bit of an escalation here. That was That was very, very unfortunate. Well, let's just hope that we can see behind this building. It's very, very difficult. We in the helicopter here in the SkyCopter7, we are trying to be as safe as possible. There are the police lights. This individual is incredibly determined. Clearly incredibly determined to outrun the police. Let's see if we can have a wee sneaky peek up this street here. This is South Broadway. I'm not seeing anything. Davey, can you just keep the helicopter steady for now and just keep... That's it, thank you, my man. Our pilot here, Davey, he's doing a wonderful job of keeping us steady so we can keep scanning the city for this rogue Englishman. Right. It might, now that we're waiting to reacquire the Englishman, it might be a good time to make another suggestion. I think, based on what our psychologist has told us, our international psychologist who majors in the great European cultures, including Britain, has suggested that the Los Angeles police should actually keep a small arsenal of snacks, British snacks, in every police cruiser. If it's a Scottish person, they may wish to keep some. We don't want to keep haggis because haggis will spoil. And as I've already said, this does happen so kind of infrequently, but I would highly recommend some shortbread in the back of the car, in the trunk, or perhaps somewhere where we can reach it. It looks as though a police cruiser has come to a stop there. Let's just see, Davey, can you get the helicopter around that building? Let's just get around it and see. No, it's okay, you take your time. Davey's just going to take his time. That's right. We're coming around. Another helicopter, that looks like the police helicopter there. We do not want to be banging into them and making this into an absolute disaster. We're going to be incredibly responsible. Obviously, unlike this Englishman, there he is. It looks as though he's got his hands up. He is surrendering to the police. The police have their weapons drawn. I am surprised at that. Let's see. Well, he was driving on the wrong side of the road for quite some time, and although you could argue that this person is not completely at fault, and that we should have been better prepared for the needs of this particular immigrant, it's possible. Yes, I mean, obviously in North America, especially in the United States of America, personal responsibility is paramount. So despite the lack of tea and the lack of jammy Dodgers, this individual must take responsibility for what he has done. I hope that the judge will go a little bit easy on him and perhaps issue him some sort of ruling whereby he must keep a supply of tea bags and jammy Dodgers to last a good 6 months in case there is a shortage or some sort of problem importing said things into the country. Police officer just having a wee look at the car there. opening the door to see what is going on. There is undoubtedly a strong smell of fish and chips. That, I think, is all. We are running out of fuel, perfectly timed to catch this individual. So, we thank you for joining us on this quite unusual police pursuit. And we hope that if you find yourself in a similar situation, that you will be able to take some of the lessons from this pursuit tonight.